Shalom, everybody. Rabbi Edelstein here with another installment of Rabbi E in 3, brought to you by Meor DC. Find us on Facebook at Meor DC or on our website, meordc.com, and learn about all of our programs. And this week, the Rabbi E in 3 is Le'iloi Nishmas Eitan ben David and Moshe ben Eliezer, for the elevation of the souls of two wonderful people who tragically passed away just in the last few weeks. One, Mr. Eitan Severe, principal of the Yeshiva of Greater Washington, secular studies principal, where my sons go, a wonderful man, a fine principal. And the other, a young man named Mark Crichton, personal friend of my parents, myself, my family, a physician, a good-hearted person. Two people who died young. And while we can't, one in his 50s, one a lot younger than that. And while we don't understand the ways of Hashem, and why wonderful people leave this world when they do, and many other things about our existence we don't understand. But the response that the Torah teaches us, our reaction to adversity of all kinds, has to be to do tshuva, to try to use the experience to come closer to Hashem, to appreciate that life is short, and maybe shorter than we know. We don't know what any day will bring. To utilize every minute we have here for goodness, for righteousness, to love Hashem, to do the mitzvot of the Torah, if we're Jewish people, to follow all the mitzvot of the Torah, all mankind to follow the mitzvahs that are incumbent upon them, but just to live lives of purpose, because life has a purpose, and to become better and more compassionate people. That really is the way the Torah and the Talmud guide us in dealing with adversity. Whether it's the one I mentioned, people leaving this world in a tragic way, or whatever it is, to become better people all the time, to use every day's experiences to become better servants of Hashem, and better citizens, better human beings towards our fellow man. So that was all an introduction. So I know it's almost 3 minutes gone, but I wanted to dedicate tonight to them. They were both humble people. And we've been talking about the letter of Ramban, Nachmanides, to his son, the ethical letter, where he talks about not getting angry, how anger is a terrible sin, and if you work on eliminating anger, you open yourself up to attain the trait of humility. And we've talked about in the past weeks, how humility, anava, the sages say, is the greatest of all traits. It leads someone to not have arrogance, to see his or her place in the world, to realize they're a created being, to realize that there's a God above them that one day all of us will have to answer to. And also Ramban says, with the trait of humility, you look at every person as in some ways greater than you. That doesn't mean being self-abasing. It just means seeing the greatness and the goodness in every person and honoring every single person. That's a consequence of humility. And Ramban says, with this trait of humility, thinking about your life and about your relationship to other people and to God, that doesn't lead to dreariness in life. That leads to simcha, being happy with your lot. We mentioned that last week. Rejoice, really kind of what we said today. Thoughts that make you treasure every moment and the challenge and opportunity of life. And the Ramban goes on to say that if you live in this way, honoring every other person, having awe of God, and being careful not to do transgressions, because transgression leads to unhappiness and self-defeat in all kinds of ways. So if you have that trait of humility that leads you to guard yourself from sin and to have awe of God and respect for other people, you have joy in this world. And then the lashon, the language of the Ramban, is incredible. He says you're living with Olam Haba, the spirit, if you will, of the world to come, and the Shekhinah dwells on you, with you, in you. An incredible thing. In other words, in this world, you live an otherworldly life. Now, that doesn't mean asceticism, and that doesn't mean unhappiness. It doesn't mean shunning the beauty of physicality in its proper sense of this world. Not at all. But it means using this physical life we have for a purpose. And when you do that with the guidance of the Torah, you become a ben olam haba. You don't just live a physical life. Everything is transcendent in your life and linked to the eternal, linked to holiness and happiness in the truest sense of the word. Humility is an incredible thing. And we should all try to, in whatever small measure, grow in that trait and in all these traits and in the humility personified by Moshe ben Eliezer and Eitan ben David. Have a wonderful Shabbos, and strive every day to utilize every minute for goodness, for righteousness, and for life. Have a great Shabbos.